Hello students, we are going to start chapter 6, Poets and Pancakes. The lesson is taken from the book My Years with the Boss, written by Ashoka Mitran. In this excerpt, he talks about all the elements that kept Gemini Studio running, from pancake makeup to the office boy of the makeup department, from Subbu to the lawyer. Every element helped in making Gemini Studio a successful film producing company. The essay Poets and Pancakes is an extract from Ashoka Mitran's book My Years with Boss. The boss was S.S. Vasan, who founded the Gemini Studio, which produced a number of films that influenced every aspect of Indian life. Ashoka Mitran talks about his days at Gemini Studios. Let's see the significance of title. The title, Poets and Pancakes, refers to the poets who were script writers at the studio and also to the brand of makeup pancake that was liberally used. The author's job in the studio was to cut newspapers clippings on various topics and maintain a file of the same. Let's move on towards the summary. In this lesson, Ashoka Mitran talks about Gemini Studio and all that helps in keeping it in the spotlight. He starts by making a mention about pancakes, the famous makeup brand which Gemini Studios ordered in truckloads. He then talks about the plight of actors and actresses who have to bear too many lights on the face while getting ready in the makeup room. The makeup department, according to him, used heaps of makeup to turn them into ugly looking creatures. Shockingly, he talks about the office boy of the makeup department, whose task is to slap paint onto the faces of players at the time of crowd shooting. He was a poet and had joined the studio in the hope of becoming an actor, screenwriter, director, or a lyricist. In those days, the author used to work inside a cubicle and had the task of collecting newspaper cuttings, which according to others was insignificant. Thus, office boy who would come in time again to bother him with his complaints. He was well convinced that the reason behind his misery was Subbu. He thought Subbu had an advantage because he was born a Brahmin. Subbu was a resourceful man whose loyalty made him stand out. He was tailor-made for film and it was difficult to imagine filmmaking without him. He was very welcoming and was well known for his hospitality. Just like many others at the Gemini Studio, he also did poetry. He worked for the story department, which also consisted of a lawyer. People generally called him the opposite of legal practitioner. He was logical and neutral man amidst a room full of dreamers. Ashoka Mitran then describes how Gemini Studio got a chance to host a group of international performers called Moral Rearmament Army. Though the plots and messages were not complex, their sets and costumes were near to perfection. So much to that for many years Tamil plays displayed sunset and sunrise in a way inherited from Jotham Valley. The another guest, Stephen Spender, comes to visit Gemini Studio people had hardly heard of him, and they couldn't even connect with him due to linguistic barriers. He was not until a few years later that Ashokamitran saw his name in a book and realized who he really was. As a film writer, he had a stellar career in Tamil films. Ashokamitran takes us on a journey to a time when studios were the stars than actual individuals. The narration speaks of his time at Gemini Studio of Madras under the tutelage one of the pioneers of Tamil and Indian cinema, S.S. Vasan. As one of the parts of huge team, the writer discusses and describes various other individuals that made Gemini Studio as the front running film company in the country as well as South Asia. He begins with the office boy who was responsible for painting the people in the crowds, and which he did with pride. The makeup department he used to work in always worked with company called Pancake. Then he moves to K. Subbu, who is lieutenant for Vasan. He is a humble and family man with a penchant of poetry. He loves sharing his words with common people. He, not very educated, but has learned a lot on the job with industry experience. The next person is litigator, who is known for his notoriety and tricks. He is always up to some mischief with the actors and staff. Then he goes on to describe the writers who lack sense of originality and critic. They are lazy in the attitude and uninspiring in their works. Next, the writer describes a group of international performers called Moral Rearmament Army, who are invited to perform on studio. However, they have an ulterior motive of triggering anti-communist sentiment in a place where communism was strong force. Vasan, who himself was a communist sympathizer, realizes his mistake and persuades Stephen Spender, a renowned communist poet, to come and address the situation. Stephen, although equivalent with his words, fails to connect with the listeners who do not understand his language and diction. The predominantly Tamil-speaking audience doesn't even realize the stature of poet. Even the writer did not recognize what it was, some famous English literature and poet. It was not until a few years later when the writer came across Pender in one of his prose competitions that he realized the magnitude of man's work. I just hope you have understood the poem, the chapter clearly. Thank you. If you like the explanation, please press the bell icon and subscribe our channel.